Well, hey, man, it's Jamie. That's me here. Welcome back to my channel, honey. Listen, let's go ahead and get into this after show of Real Housewives of Potomac. Let's talk about it. All right. So on this after show, they started off with talking about the house, right? Y'all know Gizelle and Robyn got to the house very late. Gizelle tried to make it seem like she was expecting, I guess, what Miss Candace gave her. All right. She started talking about the sheet counts and stuff, the thread count on the sheets and all this other stuff. She was expecting some type of high maintenance location, which she arrived to it not being. Okay. She says that when she got there, it was a burger on her bed. I said, Gizelle, it was not no burger on your bed. It was some bread, though. It was a piece of bread. That was a little rude, girl, but had you got there on time and not purposely arrived late, then, girl, it wouldn't be an issue. And see, I feel like now that I think about it, when they arrived late, and Wendy said, oh, well, we all got call times of when we should have arrived, and they chose to get there late. So that makes me feel like they purposely got there late in an effort to possibly get a terrible room, because they probably already knew how the rooms were going to be broken down. And they knew that they were going to make that a bigger issue than what it needed to be. So they could possibly use an excuse to get out of the house and go find a hotel, because they really didn't want to go anyway. So they didn't want to be around the ladies. And then for Robyn to sit up there and complain and talk about there's men in this house, girl, bye. That means that you did that on purpose and you used the men as an excuse, because y'all whole plan was to get there late and possibly not have to stay there. So y'all had a quote unquote, I guess, backup plan. Only thing I'm surprised about is that y'all didn't go ahead and already find hotels that were in the area. Yikes. But okay, let's keep going. Gizelle says that she shouldn't have asked any of those ladies to sleep in a bed that wasn't given. Basically, she said, if it was me, I would have never asked any of those ladies to sleep in a bed. You know what I'm saying? If it was mine or whatever, I wouldn't, like that, she said. Gizelle says that she shouldn't have asked any of those ladies to sleep in a bed that she was given. Or she wouldn't have asked any of those ladies to sleep in the bed that she was given. But my thing is, you did that with Mia and Robyn. Like, you may not have given up your bed, but you went and you asked Mia to give up her bed for Robyn. So what are you talking about? That makes no sense. So it's okay for you to ask somebody else to give up theirs, but you say that you wouldn't have did it or whatever, girl. Miss Gizelle made no sense, okay? What else did she say? Mia goes on to say that she felt like Gizelle was being theatrical. And I said, look at you trying to say theatrical. Are you saying that because you're sitting up here with Miss Karen and you feel like their antics were theatrical? Because you also ran downstairs like you really cared and everything. Don't go. Now you want to sit up here and talk about they were being theatrical. I mean, I guess. Okay. Karen says that she was not surprised by them leaving the house. She said she wasn't surprised. It was like expected. They always with the foolery and some BS. So it was just like, okay, girl, but she wasn't gonna feed into it either way. She was gonna let them do what they're gonna do, because that's just how they is. All right. Now, Gizelle says that she was wobbling around with a broken toe, and she wasn't going to do that up and down the stairs. So that's the reason why she left. Now, I kind of understand where Gizelle is coming from with that. Like, yeah, you got this toe situation. You shouldn't really have to go up and down stairs when you're in pain. Okay, gotcha. So you decided to leave. So she goes on to say that Wendy has never been a friend of hers, right? Because she showed her no concern for her toe. She wanted Wendy to pretty much overcompensate for her. Like, okay, if you need anything, let me know. All right, we can get a room for you. Sorry, this is like, she just wanted her to do the most. And I agreed with Gizelle a bit when she said that, because it made me think about Ashley. Wendy decided to go easy on Ashley. Like, okay, this is going to be your room, whatever room you choose. Let me know if there's anything that you need, Ashley. And whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop, knowing that Ashley brought the rumor to her along with Gizelle. But she decided to, cater to Ashley. She decided to cater to Ashley because Ashley just had these babies. So I kind of felt like, okay, well, you kind of could have did the same thing with Gizelle then. If you was just going to let stuff slide with Ashley, I guess you could have catered to Gizelle too. But then when I think about it, it's like, I hear you, Gizelle. But now when I think about it, Wendy went into that room and she greeted you and she said, hi. She looked like she was happy that they were there. As soon as Wendy put on a face like, hey, how are you? Gizelle said, oh, that's new. I haven't seen that in a long time. So you're automatically throwing shade. So it would not have mattered what Wendy would have done to make you feel comfortable in that moment. You would have had some type of smart remark to follow it up with. So then it makes a person person wonder or wish they would have never did anything for you to begin with. Okay, so shut up. All right, let's keep going. Okay. Wendy says that it's their own fault. Wendy says that it's their own fault why they got the room that they got, because she said that, you know, everybody knew what time they should have arrived. The ladies chose to get there late. So they ended up getting the room that they got. So now they got to deal with it, period. Right? And then Candace asked Wendy, like, girl, let me ask you this. So you mean to tell me that had the ladies actually arrived on time, that they would have had the chance of getting a nice room? Wendy said, no, girl, they still would have got the room that they got. Okay, they still would have ended up getting the room that they got, right? So I guess it's still their fault. It's still their fault. And Robyn, you just collateral damage at this point. All right, so then Candace says that after the argument with Mia, so we transitioned to talking about the argument that she had with Mia, she said she didn't like that things could have gotten physical between them, and she didn't like the fact that she was possibly ruining someone else's trip. So when she sat it back and she thought about it, she didn't like those things. So she also realized that when it came to the low budget comment, she said she was way more bothered than she wanted herself to believe that she was bothered. So she was definitely really bothered by that comment. Right? Gizelle goes on to say that she loves what she speaks on what she loves about Mia, which is just so interesting to me. I'm gonna let y'all have that one with her talking about what it is that she loves about Mia. I slick, in all honesty, wanted to say, oh, outside of her being light skinned, what else do you love about Mia? Okay, Gizelle says, what I love about Mia is that Mia realizes that the beef went wrong and they talked and they got to a better place. Okay, so that's what she says. And I'm like, she said it like she ended up getting to the point of her wanting Wendy to take note. And she wants Wendy to be open and receptive. And I'm like, first of all, you ain't even go to Wendy. You the one who made Wendy feel away and then expect Wendy to come to you to have a conversation about some shit that you had involvement with, that you brought to the show. And you want this lady to go over there and have a conversation with you. That makes no sense. You should go to her and have the conversation. You sitting around waiting. And then let's talk about that. Gizelle, when you have the opportunity to talk to Wendy or vice versa, what did you do? You always throw it away like you done with Wendy. You ain't really got nothing to say. Just on the boat, when y'all could have had that kumbaya moment, you said you ain't have nothing else to say. You was like, when it comes to Wendy, I'm cool on Wendy. Every time it's combative and it's aggressive or whatever. That's what you said, but you could have used that opportunity as a time for both of y'all to talk. But you love those things about Mia, but you're not willing to do it yourself. And even when it's your turn to do it, you struggle so bad. Like you still didn't give Karen an apology, even though I feel like Karen didn't really need one. You know what I'm saying? But you definitely danced around that. But you demanded one on your end. Like, that makes no sense, girl. You got to get it together, okay? She also goes on to say that she liked how Candace was able to kind of like, you know, recognize, you know, her wrong or whatever in the situation. They both together were able to, you know, come to a conclusion and be good, okay? Candace says that Mia has a lot of issues with her mother, and at the time she didn't know anything about it, as much as people want to say that Candace was aware, okay? Candace did not know anything about Mia's mom. Candace says that now that she does know, she says she has a soft spot for situations like that, for mother issues, because she too has her own mother issues, you know. And as she sat back and thought about it, she said that she didn't want to be a contributing factor to that, you know, to what's going on over there. So that's another reason why she, you know, apologized and was open and willing to have the conversation with Mia, okay? And I felt like when I was listening to it, for me, I said, this is the conversation Monique and Candace should have had last year, where it was like, oh, it was a misunderstanding. You know, I came at you like this. You know, I apologize for, you know, taking it there, for putting my hands on you. Whoop, 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 da, da, da. I was under a lot of stress because of this, because of that. Whoop, whoop, whoop. They should have had that conversation, but the conversation never happened because Monique lacked remorse. She didn't care about what it is that she did to Miss Candace. More so, she was trying to, you know, solidify her position within the group, making sure the ladies didn't turn on her, only for Bravo to offer her a friend contract, and she turned around and feel away about that and decided to not return for yet another season. But anyway, all in all, I feel like this was a conversation that Candace and Monique should have had last year and could have had last year, which they probably could be on better terms now. But I think it was a lot of the lack of remorse that took place that followed up, which resulted in, you know, the suit or whatever going to the courts. But let's move on. Gizelle wants Wendy to take note. And I told y'all about that. But I just felt like, Gizelle, you're never willing to take notes your damn self. So that's unfair. Robyn and Gizelle speak on how much they hated this trip, especially the boat trip. They cringed, they hated it. And you know what? I kind of hate that they were forced to come. I hate that they were for that whole energy about them coming on this trip was very forced. And I wish that they were never forced. Like, girl, let them folks do what they're going to do over there, honey. Stop forcing these people to show up. Girl, because Robyn didn't give anything, even when she could have had the conversation with Wendy. She didn't want to have it. She said, girl, I'm not open to debating. I'm not open to having this conversation. I don't want to have a back and forth about anything. Girl, yikes. Anyway, Karen chimed in on Robyn, and this was interesting when Miss Karen chimed in on Robyn, okay? She said some other things. I don't know. I think it's later on in the conversation, but Karen chimed in on Robyn not wanting the husbands around. I thought that was weird. Miss Karen thought that was very weird. I don't know what the hell that was about. Seems like she was probably bothered by everything because her cycle was on. I'm not sure what it was. Robyn says that she would have much rather all of the couples had been together and the people that don't have their significant others on the trip would have been able to go off and do their own thing. And I'm like, girl, no, shut up. Karen calls it insecurity, though. That's what she feels it was. When Robyn didn't want them to have conversations around the guys, she called it insecurity. She also says that Robyn kind of demanded that she want to have this conversation with the guys there. I was so confused by that. And obviously that must have been a piece that they cropped out and we didn't get to see that. But Karen goes on to say that she thinks it's because she was missing her husband, okay, because Juan was not there. Karen says maybe that's why they aren't walking down the aisle, because she doesn't share everything that she needs to share with her husband. Now, Karen felt like the ladies that got their man there, you share everything with your man. That's your man, that's your best friend, okay? You know what I'm saying? If anybody a day one, it's probably him. Right? So Karen talks to Ray about a lot of stuff. So for her to not want him to be there for that, some stuff that he gonna find out about anyway, girl, like that's jacked up. That's how Miss Karen was feeling. But she thinks that when it comes to Robyn was just operating in a space of security and the fact that she don't share enough with her husband, because had she shared enough with Juan, she would be able to understand why the other husbands are sitting there, right? Because ain't nobody else trip but her. Right? Because the ladies know that their husbands are their best friends and they probably gonna tell them everything that happened anyway. But okay. Karen also goes on to say that she knows Robyn. And see, this, when Karen said this, I said, oosh. Girl, Karen says she knows Robyn and says that she is at a point where she can't hide how disappointed she is in her own relationship. And I said, ooh. God, that was a good one. She's at a point where she can't hide how disappointed she is in her own relationship. Girl. That right there for me was really a word. You know what I'm saying? If you're cool with somebody and you see how they operate and they misplace their issues or their anger or whatever off on you, girl, it's like, girl, don't do that. Okay, that is so clear that she's pretty much showing her hand at this point, how disappointed she is in her own relationship. Girl, let me tell you, girl, I'm going to hold on to that word right there, Miss Karen, because I feel like that was something when she said that. Girl, let's move on, okay? Ashley speaks on her issues with G. Y'all know Ashley and G got into it when Ashley was on the bus sleep. Now, G may have been a little petty when he was like, look at Ashley over there in the corner sleep. But he also said the same thing to Candace. He was like, look at Candace messing with Chris' head. I guess that's just the thing that G do, girl. And Miss Ashley just wasn't feeling it at that moment, okay? Ashley says that she didn't get much sleep that night. And because she's a mom of a newborn, she hasn't been getting that much sleep at home. So she kind of messed herself up by not going to sleep. All right. So and the night before, but the thing for me is, Ashley, you trying to put this off on G, but that's your fault. You the one who is a new mom and can't get no sleep and decided going on a cast couples trip, you was gonna get some sleep at that point. Girl, you knew how this was gonna flow. You've been on this show long enough to know, girl. Bye. Okay. What else did she say? Gizelle capes or whatever for Miss Ashley. She goes up for Ashley and I could not stand it. She says that she's a new mom again and she's sleep deprived. And I say, here y'all go for making excuses for this BIT. Excuses that I do not feel like Wendy would have been able to use. All right. And when Candace has a child or whatever, she ain't gonna be able to use them same excuses either, girl. I don't know why y'all give this woman a pass for having this old white man's babies, girl. Anyway, so Ashley says that she didn't like that G was getting loud. And I was like, Ashley, you don't like nobody, you don't like none of the husband's behaviors but your own husband behavior. That's the only one you willing to tolerate, huh? I guess he put you through the ringer enough that you only have a capacity enough for his antics, huh? Okay. You know, Chris was making me very uncomfortable when he was getting Candace up from the seat. And then here it is, you over here talking about G. He was being very loud and he kept getting louder. Girl, bye. Okay? You mean as loud as you was getting over there with Candace at the table? I can't take it. I can't take it, okay? What else did she say? Ashley didn't like that G kept going, okay, and going. She was wondering, what was his real motive? And this was really interesting to me for her to say. She was wondering what was his real motive and whether he was trying to embarrass her because he kept getting louder and louder and he kept going and going. And I thought this was very funny because it made me reflect back to the table. When Ashley was sitting at the table with all of the, all of the cast, and she kept going and going at Candace. It was just so funny because you were trying to get a reaction. So now it's the irony of it all that the shoe is kind of reversed and it's not even that deeper of a situation. Right? G just like, look at Ashley over there asleep in the corner. Look at her. She knocked out. She knocked out. She knocked out. And when I think about it, it ain't too crazy of a thing for G to do because a lot of times when you on trips and somebody sleep, what do people do? If they don't wake you up, child, they recording you knocked out and then they probably gonna post it on social media somewhere or something. You know what I'm saying? Or they gonna play a trick on you while you sleep. But obviously she didn't like it because because it came from G. But anyway, girl, I guess, and Gizelle sitting up there forcing an issue with G. That's what I didn't understand. You love his wife. This is what I love about Mia, but then you're forcing an issue with G on behalf of Ashley. Bye. Okay. Let's move on. That was pretty much it. I just couldn't take Gizelle and all of her excuses for Miss Ashley. Okay, it was killing me and killing me softly. Okay, but that's really it. That's all I got. I just wanted to come to you guys with my thoughts on the Real Housewives of Potomac after show. Okay, so that's it. I'm Jamie, that's me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share my videos, honey. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.